Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Leslie presents. And now your host, Paul Leslie.
We are joined here today in the studio with Jeff Pike.
Yes, it's right. I'm here. It's me. Good morning, world, and good morning, Paul Leslie.
Good morning.
I've had one large cup of coffee. I'm ready to take on the world.
Yes, and it's been a year. I can't hardly believe it.
I can't believe it's been a year, man.
I gotta
What a
say,
good year it's been, though. Can I shake your hand, Paul? It's been a pleasure working with you.
Yes, sir.
What a nice,
Thank you.
clean trip it's been.
I'll tell you, this has been more fun than I ever dreamed I could have on this earth.
I have to agree. We're both kind of new at this at first, and here it is a year later. And I want to thank all the listeners out there who have shown support to Paul and myself over the past year. It means a lot to us.
Thanks for keeping us on, Steve.
Thanks,
I want to
Steve.
say,
I'll buy you a drink in Key West.
I've been saving this letter. I got for the show with you on it because I know you love David Cassidy, but I don't.
There's a good reason.
But I don't think for the same reason that these listeners do.
Uh-oh.
They want me to play "I Think I Love You."
I love you too, Paul. Oh, the song. Okay, I'm sorry.
I know that David Cassidy was the first concert you ever saw.
Yes, it was. April 1972. I was in the 5th grade. My mom and my dad and my brother went, and we had like 8th row center, vivid memory. David came out in his big, sexy white outfit, slinging those tassels, big band, hot lights, 5,000 girls screaming. I was the only guy in the audience. And I said, this is the job for me. So, David, thanks for the inspiration, pal. And here I am making a living all these years later. I owe it all to Dave. All right.
So why don't you read the letter?
Okay, this is cool. Please play us I Think I Love You. It's a song that makes us feel classy. It reminds us of his hot, tight, scribble jeans. Use your imagination there, you'll understand. And his new facelift. He didn't get a facelift, did he?
I don't know.
I think he just got his hair pulled back. VH1 forever. He was a hot young lad. Yes, he was. And he still has a great voice. Okay. To Gretchen Guy and Betsy Crow. Here is David Cassidy's remake of I Think I Love You that came out on his album Old Trick, New Dog. Take it away, Dave.
Ooh, I think I love you.
We have Jeff Pike in the studio today as our guest, and he picked that song out, and he's going to tell us a little bit about why.
Thank you, Paul. That was the Tubes from 1976. The song was Young and Rich. They're one of my all-time favorite acts, and that's one of my all-time favorite songs. And that one goes out to my brother, Pat. He's been bugging me for 20 years to learn that song, and sadly, I never got around to doing it. So, Pat, that one's for you. The Tubes, Young and Rich from 1976.
Tubular.
Tubeness.
Well, let's talk about A1A.
Let's do that.
A1A is known as the official and original Jimmy Buffett Tribute Show. And, a lot of tribute bands have come, and there's a lot of people that do tributes to Jimmy Buffett. But this is the official and original, so tell us a little bit about why that is.
I will try and make this brief. It's always best to start at the beginning. Wasn't that from a movie? Isn't there a song called Somewhere Over the Rainbow that came through? Oh,
yes.
That comes later.
Yes, it is.
Possibly later. Okay, let's go back to the beginning, if we can. 1988, I was playing solo guitar in Atlanta, Georgia, and had a large following of Buffett fans that would come to see me do my one-man show, which I kind of fell into by accident at a local club here in Atlanta. In the summer of 89, a friend of mine found an ad in the local Atlanta paper by Scott Nickerson starting the first Parrot Head Club. He said I should call him and maybe get some gigs through Scott. So I did, and Scott came out to the club, and we met, and we became friends, and he would hire me seasonally to play for the Atlanta Parrot Head Club, which I became a member of. And that was the first and only club at the time. This was the summer of 89. Over the course of a couple of years, our gigs grew better. We grew better. Scott was playing drums with me part-time during those shows only and was learning to play the harmonica, and which he perfected over a few years. Cut to about 1994. We've been doing a few more gigs than usual. We're getting offers to play across the United States, and Scott had just had his first surgery, which he recovered from, thankfully. And we had to talk about taking this full time, which we did in 94. And then things really, really happened for us. Through Scott's affiliation with Buffett's People, starting the first Parrot Head Club, we had connections with him and his band, who became friends and fans of ours at the time as well, which we were very ecstatic to be a part of. And Jimmy gave us the go-ahead to be able to use his name. We were the only ones that were able to actually use his name to promote the official Buffett Tribute Show. Others couldn't do that, which we were very thankful for and glad to have Jimmy's complete and positive go-ahead with that. So things went well, and for many years, I would say, at least 5 or 6 years, we were the only game in town as far as Buffett tribute shows went, the only one that existed for a long time. So we did a lot of work, a lot of traveling. We played a lot of Parrot Head Club parties through most of the 90s when they were developing. The Atlanta Parrot Head Club started Meeting of the Minds in 1992, and we had the first band at Meeting of the Minds in 93, and that was us. Peter Mayer actually did a few shows with us in those days, too. We headlined MOTM in 1993, 94, 95, 96, and 97, and 98. And by this time, there was a lot of new talent. A lot of people had caught on. The Parrot Head Club thing had gone huge as it is now. And Scott had stepped down from the presidency because he had too much going on personally and professionally with us to do all that all the time. It became a really, really large responsibility. So after our last performance at MOTM in 99, we figured it was time to give it a rest, pursue other ventures personally and professionally, and give some of the other bands a chance to step in and have their chance at what we did for a long, long, long time. So we've taken the last 4 or 5 years to pursue the band, pursue other interests, write new music, our own music, by the way, and take the band to the next level. So here we are this year going back to MOTM, and it was great while we had it, and we're hoping to have it again. And that's a short synopsis there, I believe. Was that okay, Paul?
Yes.
Okay.
It's really cool, first of all, that Jimmy has given A1A that kind of recognition. I mean, I've heard recordings of some of the things he said about A1A, and just to receive that kind of recognition is very cool. Not only from Jimmy's band, but from the big guy himself.
I have to tell you, it was very, very, yeah. At the time when it all happened, it was mind-boggling, and I was humbled. And the guys in Jimmy's band, Jimmy, Peter, and Roger, we met in 92 and all became friends. And of course, Amy lives here in Atlanta. Amy played on our second live album, and Fingers, who was an old and good friend of ours, did a lot of shows with A1A, was on our first album. And Jim Mayer produced that for us as well. And all the people in Jimmy's band have been just very wonderful to us. Our last show in Key West in 98, Robert Greenwich and Michael Utley played with us, and they were just going to play 5 songs. This was on the pier in 98, and after 5 songs, I remember this, and it was very important to me. I said, okay, it's time for these guys to go, and Utley said, no, man. He said, we're having a great time. We're staying for the whole show. That kind of made it for us, and that was a real nice time. So the people in Jimmy's corporation, very, very nice and pleasant, and it's been just an amazing experience for Scott and I both, and the rest of the guys in the band.
And there was one night in particular, one magical night at Lakewood Amphitheater when you and Jimmy did a little song together. Huh?
I got to tell you, that was great. I had a chance to spend some time with Jimmy earlier the year before because we were in the Fruitcakes video with him in 94, and we'd met him several times before that briefly, and he was always real pleasant to us, which I was very respectful for. But in 95, it was great. They were doing the Barometer Soup Tour, and as probably most listeners know, they had a guitar contest in each town, and somebody would get to go on stage and play with Jimmy Buffett. So I won the one in Atlanta in 95 and got to go and to play at Lakewood Amphitheater with Corey Fairbairn and Jimmy Buffett and do Cheeseburger in Paradise. And I'd seen a million shows here through my life since 89, including Jimmy, dozens of times. So it was kind of cool to get up there and set foot on a stage where many of my heroes had played. And so it was a really magical night that I'll always remember. And Jimmy was great, as always.
What was cool about that recording is, with the relationship with the Coral Reefer Band, I saw the video recording of it, and all the people in the band are like, "Oh, there's Jeff," and "Oh, I know
what are
that
you doing
guy."
Here?
Yeah, get off the stage. No, I'm kidding. No, but
lose the hat, lose the pants, put on some jeans, shave the beard.
But one of the cool things about it is, I noticed that when Jimmy introduced you, there was a magic there, because having seen you perform so many times, one thing that another guest had told me off the air was that your performance is so similar to Jimmy's because you both have that same kind of enthusiasm, and just you get on stage and you can just light the room up and everybody has full attention and they're laughing and enjoying themselves, that performance. And I noticed that Jimmy was really, really into your performance when you guys played together, and I could tell Jimmy was digging it.
Well, I hope he was. I didn't get a chance to talk to him much after the show, but I think I know what you're saying. And I've had people tell me that too. And it's just, I think it's a natural thing to come to loving music. I don't think it's something you can really create. You got really, well, I guess you can over time, but you really have to love what you're doing to admit that kind of energy and positive feedback to people, which Jimmy does, and which I've always been proud to be able to do.
Yeah,
so thank you for that. That's cool.
I could see the sparks, and Jimmy appeared to be enjoying it. You're excited about Ship Happens and A1A returning to Meeting of the Minds with a totally new band. A lot of the old members, but a couple people have been picked up along the road.
Yes, Paul, we are very excited to be going back to MOTM after 5 years. With the success of Ship Happens a couple of years ago, we decided to take the band even further, as we always had wanted to do, into a full-fledged big show, which we're working on as we speak. We still have Scott. Of course, Coney joined full-time in 2002, as did Charles McDonald, both old musical veteran friends of mine I played with for years. Last year, we met Miss Lauriane Barbier, a lovely, very talented singer-songwriter from Miami, Florida, and she has added a lot to the band. In fact, she will have several new songs on the new A1A record, which will be coming out in March of 2005. We recently added a very extremely talented saxophone player, keyboardist, Mr. Vance Kelly, who Charles played with for many, many years. We also have a new harmonica player named James Cobb, who shall be sitting in occasionally when he has a chance to. He won't be at MOTM this year, but you're in for a real treat when you hear him play. So we're all going to be down there for MOTM, for the Atlanta Parrot Head Club on Wednesday, the benefit at the Olivia House on Thursday, the Key West Tie-Out on Friday and Saturday, and with our old friend Sonny Jim at the Blue Heaven Songwriters Jam on Sunday. And we're looking real forward to 2005 with a new band, a new album, new original songs, and lots of places to go and lots of people to meet and lots of parrot heads to play for.
Well, I'm sure that some of the people that weren't at the old MOTMs, they're going to be in for a real treat when they get to see A1A smoking.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. We're actually kind of surprised because the parrot head phenomenon has taken off so much in the past 5 years since we kind of went our ways to do other things for a while. And a lot of people don't know that we actually did headline MOTM, like I said earlier, in 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, and 98. So it's going to be good to come back and meet a lot of new fans, and especially all of our old friends who are going to be there. It's going to be a wonderful time we're all looking forward to.
And you mentioned another album on the horizon?
Glad you asked, Paul. As a matter of fact, we're in the process now of writing and recording our new CD, which we were going to release at MOTM, but we didn't get it finished in time due to our extremely busy schedule this year. We've been traveling all over the world, heck, even to Japan and back. But it'll be released next year on the Parrot Head Cruise 2005. It's going to have songwriting and vocals from all the guys in the band and the girls. So It's going to be a wide variety of talent exposed on this one. So it's going to be a different A1A record. But yet, if you like Ship Happens, you'll like this one as well. A lot of surprises there.
Jeff, as you know, and I love to say this show goes out all over the world. So what would you like to say to all those kiddies at home that are listening?
I want to encourage people to listen to independent music, have an open mind, an open heart, and don't always trust what your local radio programmers thrust down your throat. That's what radio was all about. Music is from the heart, and it's your personal taste, and there's a lot of it out there, and you never know what you're missing until you experience it. And come to Key West and see us.
You know what, Jeff? I want you to come back because a lot of people aren't aware that you have your own melodic soft rock compositions that are very close to my heart.
Well, thank you, Paul.
And I would like you to come back and talk about the other side of Jeff Pike. There's the rowdy, on stage, the A1A, all that stuff, but there's another side.
There's a lot of sides to me, and I'm sure one day when I go to a psychiatrist, he'll tell me there's even more. But I would be happy to come back to do this, Paul. And I want to say in closing that our friendship and our working partnership here has meant a lot to me over the year, and I feel we've both grown in leaps and bounds. And again, I want to thank Steve and everybody out there for supporting Fins Up, and here's to another year, Polly.
Cool.
It's time for a good, clean drink. What do you think?
See you next.
Why don't we get a little drink and go over the rainbow? What do you say?
Funny you should mention that, Jeff, because when we did our first episode, we closed on Over the Rainbow, and that's the place to be.